This episode is brought to you by Bespoke Post and Miller Lite. Stay tuned for more information later in the show. Hello there, and welcome to the Death Battle Cast. Yes, I had to.
Yeah.
We are the cast and crew of Death Battle, plus a new face to the show, which is really cool.
Well, I'm not cast or crew. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. And I've just been waiting for the Star Wars conversation to get the two biggest Star Wars nerds in all of Rooster Teeth together. And so Blaine graciously agreed to come on the show.
Sam and Blaine, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely Sam.
Not I. I don't I literally, they put out episode 9 the other night, and I still haven't seen it. And I was like, maybe I should watch it. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to go to bed early. Fuck it. Like, that's my Star Wars level right now.
Oh, great. Okay. So we got all sorts of different Star Wars fans here, I guess. We got the broad spectrum.
Full spectrum.
But hello. Just so you know, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz. We can go counterclockwise if you want, Chad.
I don't know, whatever. I just jumped it. Hi, I'm Chad with Boomstick. Oh, we switched.
Hi, I'm Sam, and watch this one. RTTV is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Protect your data. Go to expressvpn.rttv.com.
One more time.
Or .com/RTT. Yeah, expressvpn.com/RTTV. Go do that.
Nailed it.
Okay, bye.
First try.
Yeah,
Nailed
first try.
I'm Blaine. I don't know if anybody knows me here, but I like Star Wars. Yeah. You guys, a lot of shit's been going on in Star Wars lately. Did you guys see the Taika Waititi news? Totally just taking us off the rails. Yeah, he's supposed to be doing his
that's exactly what we do here.
That's fine. We do that a lot.
Oh, great.
I mean, as far as that goes, like, I think that's a good note because it's supposed to be like a precursor to Rogue One, right? Or attached to Rogue One.
I don't know.
Wait.
Have they released plot details?
I thought that was what it was about.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
For some reason, I thought it was specifically related to Rogue One.
I think they just made a vague announcement that he was going to be directing one. But I'm excited because that means, like, Star Wars, I think, has been way too formulaic lately. And so this means that they're finally going to go like the Marvel route where they're like letting artists make their own vision from that universe and not fuck it up like Ryan Johnson did. So, yeah.
I don't know about that. Oh boy, here we go.
It's gonna be so. This is why. So just so you know, so both of you are film majors and both of you are giant Star Wars fans. So like, I'm very excited.
Well, real quick before we dive into too much, Blaine, for the Death Battle fans who don't know who you are and haven't seen content you've been in, can you really briefly just kind of describe what you do with Rooster Teeth and who you've been for however long?
Sure. I think I've been at the company about 6 or 7 years now. Writer, director, mostly did live action stuff on the RT podcast every now and then now Chad and I work together on RT Core. So we've been doing a lot of work from home content, some game streams and RT Lives and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, have a deep history with Star Wars, big pass with it, like really into it. I read all the comic books, a little behind right now. I'm also just started cracking into the Ahsoka novel now that they've just wrapped up Clone Wars, and they totally deviate from each other. Like the beginning does not match up at all. So
welcome to the Star Wars expanded universe. It never does. Yeah, but
and no one commits harder to a character than Blaine. I want to throw that out there. You should go look up some of his on the spot stuff, or he has an audio podcast with Chris called Good Morning from Hell, where he plays Satan's brother Clayton, and it's really funny. So go check it out.
Yeah, I should probably plug my shit, but instead I just want
I got you.
Chad will plug it for you.
No, you're ready, dude. You had props. You're like, look, I got this book.
Oh my god, I'm not nearly that prepared. So Blaine is here because obviously it is May the 4th weekend or week. Definitely not the weekend, and
a few days after
a new Death Battle just aired with Obi-Wan versus Kakashi. And if you haven't seen it, we'll talk a little bit about that. So you should probably check that out first, just in case we spoil it for you. Real quick, I did want to mention I've gotten a lot of messages over the past week about the Aang versus Edward Elric battle. It was removed from YouTube due to a copyright claim. We're on it. Can't really talk too much about it. because it's a legal thing, but we're on it. Don't worry about it. We will take care of that. But as far as Obi-Wan versus Kakashi is concerned, yes, we did air a Star Wars episode on Star Wars Day that was kind of planned.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
there's zero planning in that at fucking all. Like,
well,
we just realized like 2 weeks ago. We were like, oh whoa, like
we've talked about how we generally release death battles around. Sometimes we release them around big releases so that they can get better search optimization and whatnot, so we can get sponsors more involved, and if we get more sponsors, then we can have higher quality animation and whatnot. But it doesn't affect the outcome. There are plenty of examples where we have released an episode and the character who's the popular one at the time has lost. So would we have still aired this if, spoiler, Obi-Wan had lost around the same time? Yeah, of course he would have. We did not start the season by saying, hey, May the 4th is going to be this year because, that's unique. Let's do a Star Wars episode where Star Wars wins. That's not how it went at all. But Star Wars did win because of crazy bullshit that I don't think George Lucas ever actually intended. But you know what? It's there, and we can't exactly ignore that. So we will be having a Q&A on the next episode of Cast, and we might be bringing Liam on for that as well, the writer of the episode. But for this one, I guess the idea is we're just going to talk Star Wars. Right, Chad?
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't really speak on, is it Naruto? Naruto?
Naruto.
I don't know.
Naruto.
We just lost half our viewers.
Fucked up by Obi-Wan. Whatever. Yeah. I just want to talk Star Wars.
Hey, listen, if there's anything we can tell you about anime fans, Blaine, they're very forgiving.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
Great.
If we want to transition back to Star Wars easily on our old conversation of what Waititi's working on, him and Leslie Headland are going to be, well, Leslie Headland is like the showrunner and producer for 2 upcoming Disney Plus series. One of is Cassian Andor, who is the pilot in Rogue One. It's like his story before Rogue One, and the other one is what Obi-Wan did between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
Yeah,
so
she's the producer, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
but she's also writing.
I think. Well, okay. I heard is it Deborah Chow? She was the director on Mandalorian. She's going to be doing the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, that's awesome.
Believe.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, she had some of the best episodes of Mandalorian, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, it's like now that we're past the Skywalker saga, for now, I'm sure they're going to come back to it. Someone's going to go to Tatooine and dig up those lightsabers again. But it's just nice that like we're going to explore all these different areas of the universe.
I'm stoked, but I feel like we're not doing that. We're looking at stuff from like what happened before Rogue One and what did Obi-Wan do. It's like they're not actually doing, like, The Mandalorian is at least a story that doesn't seem to give a shit about the rest of the franchise, which I like, minus like a Yoda, and it has something that could matter like past or like what we've seen. But yeah, I just feel like all the other shows are just like, oh, we're gonna explain prequel shit that doesn't matter to like the big story.
Mandalorian isn't directly tied to any specific existing movie, like main piece of content, Clone Wars movie, whatnot. Yeah. Although the Darksaber's now part of it, so they're gonna bring in some of the Clone Wars shit, which is actually kind of cool for me to see, like the Darksaber and that kind of stuff in a live action show that's been introduced in comics and cartoons. So seeing that kind of bridging the gap, it's kind of like how in Rogue One they had a character from Clone Wars appear. What was his name? Saw Gerrera or whatever. And then now he's in video games. It's like, oh, that's interesting. He was just some kind of one-off character in the Clone Wars cartoon like a decade ago, and now he's like a rebel, like
you mean like Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker's character.
Yeah.
Oh my god, don't get me started on that fucking scene. Like, no, just like get in the ship. No, go ahead. No, but like you can just get in the fucking ship. Like,
you could help us. He's like, no, I don't do that. No.
Like, well,
I'm done.
Yeah, it was very stupid. His character is pretty much just as dumb in the game too. The new game, Fallen Order. Like his character just shows up. It's pretty much just like, hey, I'm Forrest Whitaker, and you're like, get off my ship. I'm trying to do stuff. Like, yeah.
It is pretty
Very
tight.
simple.
Like I love the interweaving, and they did it so great with Clone Wars. Like there was. Can we talk about the newest Clone Wars and the finale and all that stuff? Are we?
I haven't caught up on it yet. I think
Then
it's
I
a
will-
little too early, but
Okay.
we can be vague about it, I think.
Well, they're doing like a lot of cool stuff, and there's like a lot of small details down to like the possible origin story of a droid that I didn't know that I needed that origin story, but I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I feel like right now though they're exploring a lot of the stuff between, like especially with Jedi Fallen Order, they're like exploring between 3 and 4. But I feel like the next generation of like content is gonna be like the Mandalorian era, where it's gonna be like 6 to 7, like what happened between, because that's like, is it 20, 30 years between?
I think it's 30 years.
Return of the Jedi? Which that's like a lot of shit. I mean, like total chaos, Empire falling. You know, I don't know.
That's what I'm most
Forming
interested in. Like what happens after the Death Star 2 blows up, because obviously that's not the end of everything. And the novels originally had this whole story arc about the chaos and the Empire like collapsing and the remnants trying to take over. One of my favorite stories from the novels is basically how different Imperial officers like Thrawn or what's her name? Tarkin's protege.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
like
sure.
are trying to take control of this like chaotic political environment, and that's interesting to me. And I think it works within like the general concept of Star Wars being kind of a simplistic space adventure, but still with these crazy political powers trying to conquer everybody. So that's cool, and the Mandalorian is like a good first step towards that. But all the stuff that happened with Solo and Rogue One, it's just kind of the same thing over
I
and
had
over.
to go
Although
rewatch
Maul is
Solo. I
weird.
fell asleep.
I don't know if they're going to do something with Maul.
Ben, did you play Fallen Order at all?
Yes, I did.
That fucking rules. That was like,
You liked it? I
thought it was
like.
awesome.
I have some complaints about that as a game and as a character, but like it was generally a good. Like I'm happy to see the return to like hey, this is a single player, story driven, narrative driven like Star Wars game. Like that's great. There are some things about that game that I could complain about. Like why is there a fucking lightsaber bench on top of a giant fucking tree in the middle of nowhere? Like mechanically, they do some shitty things to like push the story forward too. And like I feel like they just made really like lame game design mistakes in that. But overall, I hated the end of it too.
By the way, Ben, the chat's letting you know that Dala was her name. Her name was
Tarkin's
Dala.
protege.
Dala or Delilah? It was Dala or Delilah. It was one of those two.
They say D-A-L-A. A lot of D's and A's. Speaking of which, you guys, if you guys are watching and you're not signed up, you can just make a free account, and then you guys can chat along with us, and you can call Ben out on like character names or whatever. So go do that, please.
I mean, I haven't been keeping up with the comics and books of the Disney era quite as much, so I'm probably gonna make a couple mistakes that you can call me out on. Absolutely. Actually, Blaine, what have you been thinking about the Disney era versus the older era? Do you have general thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I do, because Naruto? Is that what it's called?
Naruto.
Naruto. Don't do that. No, don't do that one.
The last... Which one is it? Which one is it? Tell me now.
For real, it's
Naruto. It's Naruto.
What the...
Naruto. It's Naruto. It's just Naruto. That's fine. Yeah. Say it fast and it's easier to get out.
The show with the N-word. No. Ah! Okay, I have this.
Well, thanks for joining us on the last episode of Death Battle Cast. We had a good run.
All right, so I'm a completionist, so whenever I want to consume content, I want all of it. So like when I went into Ghost in the Shell, then I got the poster back there, like I went into all of it. So like I had a hard time keeping up with what is now considered Legends because there was just years and years of content. So when Disney went and kind of hit the reset button, I didn't really mind because now I've been able to stay on top of it. So I've been on with the comic books and all that stuff. And I feel like they've been able to cherry pick a lot of the best stuff. Like they brought back Thrawn. And right now, technically, I think he's still alive. He's just floating out in the galaxy with Ezra Bridger, which is a whole thing. Yeah. But like, I haven't minded it. I mean, it's been fine. There's like some changes that I'm not too crazy about, but there's also some stuff that like, I'm kind of digging. I don't know. I mean,
the only things I can think of that like I wish they would have cherry picked a bit more was, and it's a hard one because Boba Fett's character I think in the movies genuinely like sucks, but in the original like in Legends or the EU, he has a really cool character, and his relationship with Han later actually like kind of becomes like a cool like factor.
It's like a bromance.
Like that's like yeah, it's a little bit of a bromance, and like when he sends him like the Mandalorian armor so that he can like, what's his son's name in the EU that is essentially Ben Kenobi, like
Han's son?
Yeah. Right? It's Han and
Jason or Anakin?
It's one of those.
I think it's Jason Solo. Yeah.
Who essentially he in the EU he fills the role of Ben Kenobi essentially, or Ben Skywalker, or whatever you want to call him.
Kylo.
Solo. That's it.
Yeah, well, like so, he turns to the dark side, and I think Boba makes him some like gauntlets out of Beskar, and he's basically like, beat your son to death with these because they're buddies. And Boba Fett can do that now.
And then he trains his daughter, Jaina Solo, who's probably one of my favorite characters.
That whole arc is super fucking cool. And like, even they go into, because I remember doing it either for a desk of, I think it was a desk of on Boba Fett, reading all that stuff in like they go into the Mandalorian's armor and what it can do, and like how the Mandalorian, the Beskar, can like actually is like one of the only materials where you can hold a lightsaber. So Han with like the gauntlets can grab a lightsaber, and like that whole shit is super fucking cool.
Yeah,
but
well now
that's like the one thing I wish they would have cherry picked was that storyline.
Well, it sucks too because now I think canonically Boba Fett is not a Mandalorian. He stole the armor. Like in the extended the original, the Legends, he like becomes Mandalore, which is like, or that's like a position. It's like the king of the Mandalorians or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but like,
it's their cultural leader.
Yeah, and like, now it seems like
it's the Dragon Ball thing where the planet is Mandalore and their leader is Mandalore. So King Vegeta of Planet Vegeta. That kind of thing. But I'm trying to remember the distinction, because Clone Wars already sort of changed, or actually the prequels like completely derailed the whole Boba Fett story that existed before the prequels, where they introduced the fact that Jango Fett existed, and what originally Boba Fett's real name was like Jaster, I think, and then they changed it where Jaster was Jaster was actually the person who adopted Jango Fett into the Mandalorian culture, and then Jango trained Boba as a Mandalorian. But now that's different. I don't know. But Boba Fett basically has 3 different stories, even though there's technically only 2 canons. So he's a crazy character. But is he even canonically? Is he still dead?
Who? I'd assume so.
Boba
Fett.
I don't think he is. They kind of alluded to him being alive in Mandalorian. You hear his spurs, and there's a dude on Tatooine, and it's kind of implied that it's Boba Fett. I would say no. Also, in Maz Kanata's castle, his like signet is on a flag up there, so like that could be just an Easter egg. But if I had to take a guess, because he has such hype behind him with the fandom, I think he's probably still alive.
And the toys sell so well.
Honestly,
so they're like,
I would hope if they do anything with Boba Fett in the Mandalorian, they change it so it's somebody found Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor and just is like trying to be a Mandalorian. I think that would be a cool way to like handle that, to get rid of like the shitty parts of that original character. Like essentially you get a free reboot of that character, but still have Boba Fett.
I don't know how to feel.
I've discovered his armor, and there's Slave One.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about bringing Boba Fett back, honestly. Like, he's got his story in the original books is essentially him being a rival to Han Solo, and then he's the Vegeta of old school Star Wars. He was this rival that eventually became kind of a friend, but not really a friend. They just respected each other, and they understood each other.
Right, evidenced by the Christmas classic.
Yes, exactly.
That cartoon in the classic, in the Christmas, was pretty dope, though. I don't know if you've seen
That's the only positive thing I've ever heard said about the Christmas special.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
That's how they introduced Boba Fett, and he has like cool armor, and he's got like this gun that then I think like informed the design of the gun from the Mandalorian. But
yes, the disintegration, the super gun basically,
Yeah.
with like prongs.
Something good came from the Christmas special. We got that at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Kashyyyk also came from it, like the Wookiee planet. It's if you look at the Christmas special and Revenge of the Sith, it's the same planet, it's the same design. So either George Lucas has always planned on Kashyyyk looking like that, or he ripped off the Christmas special when he made Revenge of the Sith.
Well, I mean, they do this thing with Star Wars where it's all cyclical. So like they're constantly going back and looking at Ralph McQuarrie. Is that the guy? He's like the concept artist. What was it?
No, sorry, right. I loved that quick switch to Sam's camera where it looked like he was just looking longingly at Blaine's screen.
I mean, pretty much. But yeah.
It's Ralph McQuarrie.
I was intaking the knowledge.
They've been using his concept art to inform the design of ships, planets, character designs, all that stuff. So like that's how like the Sabbat, like that original design was supposed to be for Chewbacca, and then or the Lasat, sorry. And then they used some Ralph McQuarrie art. So
yeah, I don't know. What was his name in Rebels?
The Lasat. His name,
Purple guy. Purple man.
God.
Nailed it.
Jesus
Not Chewbacca.
Christ.
Once again, you can join. You can sign up for a free account and let us know in the chat and fill in the blanks.
Yes, I have the chat right here.
Star Wars terminology.
You can yell at me.
Yeah. You know what my first introduction to anything like beyond like what I'd seen on screen from Star Wars was?
Zeb. Sorry.
Seb,
yes,
you got it right.
Zeb, yeah.
Ben, you might know this. My first introduction to anything that had anything to do with expanded universe outside of the films. No guess.
Okay. You want me to guess?
I have no idea.
Yes, I wanted you to guess, but it's okay.
I don't know
worry about it. The moment's gone. And that would be the PlayStation classic Star Wars Masters of Terrakasi.
Which is a legitimately good bad game. That game's like fun as fuck.
I enjoyed it.
Like a balanced fighter,
system
but it's
sucks.
fun.
Like when you first start playing it, it's kind of like Primal Rage in the fact that like
it's just like
it's like you think there is nothing to it and it's garbage, and then you're like, oh wait, I just have to learn their weird light combo system and the way you do inputs, and then it's fun. But like I remember unlocking and playing Mara Jade.
Don't make any sense.
Yeah, and I was like, who the fuck is
game.
Mara Jade? And then I remember, I had to look that up, and it was like, was she Luke's daughter or wife?
Wife.
That's what I thought. Yeah. And she had the purple lightsaber, right? Before Sam Jackson.
Actually, she had for the longest time she used Luke's old lightsaber. That's what happened to it originally. Is the one that he lost on Bespin. Mara Jade used that lightsaber.
Isn't that part of how they got together too? Right?
Yeah.
Like
because
there's like a Force signature in it, and she kind of finds Luke through that because she finds the lightsaber.
In the new canon, they have the Inquisitors, which are dark Jedi, essentially, who are assigned to hunt down other Jedi. In the old canon, there was the Emperor Hands, who basically did the same thing. And she was a hand of the Emperor. So she was trained to kill Jedi. And then she was found by some Sith dude who was like, okay, you're going to go kill Luke. And then it's a big, complicated thing. That's the Thrawn storyline. It's a very big, complex story.
Do you think
Star Wars in
with
general
Mara
is
Jade?
complex. I don't think she's a part of this at all.
Probably not.
No, they haven't referenced her. Luke briefly had a love interest who then died in the same novel that she was introduced. I can't remember which one it was. It took place right after episode 4. But yeah.
Is that in the new canon? Or
it's in the new canon. It was like one of the first books that they released. I got it back there. I could go find it, but it wasn't a very good book. I didn't like it a lot. I was like, this is not a great intro into the extended U.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that one.
Yeah, it sucks too because like in the comic books, so they just finished up the storyline, the main Star Wars comic book line between episodes 4 and 5, and then now the new Star Wars comic book line is taking place between episodes 5. Sorry. Yeah, it's after episode 5, before 6. So I guess Han is cryogenically frozen throughout the series, which kind of sucks because that's going to be a huge void. But like Luke still sucks. He's not a Jedi at all. But in the comic books, he's like deflecting blaster bolts and he's using his lightsaber and he's fucking great. But then by the time Empire Strikes Back rolls around, he's just like getting his ass kicked by Vader. It doesn't really match up. The extended universe has to really do some like leaps in logic in order to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. Well, I know you guys could probably talk about Star Wars forever.
isn't that
but
what we're here
it's-
for? That's what.
Yeah,
that's what
I
we
mean,
came
yeah,
to
and
this
yeah, you
for.
are. You know, I'm just gonna say, I think we have some really cool fan art from that just blooper reel of insanity that I was
Good
gonna
go?
talk about and what's going on. If we want to roll, yeah.
All right, y'all. Before we get on with that, let me tell you about Bespoke Post. Now, if you're anything like me, your mailbox is kind of a sad place where you get bills and nothing you actually want. But you can change that by going to bespokepost.com and using our dope code BATTLECAST. And let me tell you what these guys do. Bespoke Post pretty much throws together a box of awesomeness. Whatever you want. Like you like cocktails, they got you. You want clothing, they got you. You want stuff for your kitchen, you need a new fancy whisk or something, they got you. You sign up for a box, like, and they even have tests to let you know, like, oh, maybe this box interests you, or maybe this one. And you just go to their website, do a little test, or don't, or just look through all the awesome boxes they have and pick one. And I guarantee you can find any interest you have, or maybe if you're getting it for a gift to somebody. Like, I mean, I was looking at getting a camping one for my brother who's super into, like, you know, all the outdoors and stuff. They just got so many awesome boxes, and they come monthly full of just juicy dank stuff. And every box is costs $45, but it has over $70 worth of gear in it. It's free to sign up. You can skip a month or cancel at any time. Super like low key and relax about it. They release new boxes every month across tons of different categories. And like I said, you can get started by taking a quiz, which is always fun. So go to boxofawesome.com, answer some questions, use our code BATTLECAST, and get 20% off your first order. So get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code BATTLECAST to checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code BATTLECAST for 20% off your first box. So yeah, go do it and enjoy some awesome stuff.
So what's going on with
I know.
the blooper reel?
Yeah,
It was the funny one. Y'all been
the
talking
blooper
about for like
reel,
4
but
weeks.
the one, the previous one, the one,
Oh, the
Booster
super hand
Gold
one.
versus Cable. Yeah, where Ben and I collectively lost our mind in the booth, and then just like burned like 10 minutes of VO time in just crying hysterics about this dumb super hand character. If you guys
Was there a
haven't seen
gas leak? Like that day, was there a gas leak in the recording studio? Because you guys like, I was watching this. I was like, what is happening to these people?
I was just already like in a silly mood. Ben and I like to have a lot of fun in the booth together. And then he said super hand. He flubbed that line, and just, I don't know, my brain was just like, I just pictured the superhero with one large fucking hand, and it just for some reason killed me. Yes, exactly.
So let's
So now, like, thinking about how precious booth time is now, y'all just really dropped the ball on that one.
I regret nothing.
I would kill to get in a VO booth. Like,
But we got a bunch of fan art. And so, like, I've been going through Twitter, and anybody who tweeted at me with some fan art, I've been saving it. And so I wanted to bring them up and go through some of them. So let's bring. Looks like we don't have names for each of these. So thank you guys for submitting.
Do you have the list with you?
So I do. I just don't know which ones Cody's showing at which times.
Okay.
Like if he went in order or not. And it went away. There we go. It's just, I love the outfit. And he can fly, apparently. That's just great.
I mean, he's got this giant hand. He could just punch, and I'm sure the hand would carry
like
him.
This one is like ripping through like the fabric of air, like it's creating whatever that effect is called, like re-entry.
That would be the saddest superpower, because like I'm all about symmetry, so just having one gigantic hand, that guy's life would be miserable. Like getting gloves.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah,
Video
that's
games.
perfect.
Yeah, this is him.
Oh my
this is him
God.
trying to get his fingerprints. It's like a fucking life.
Oh no. Okay, I've seen a few of these. I haven't seen. Oh no.
He's got a
seen all of
Superman
these.
tattoo apparently.
Super.
Yeah, I've been
hand.
saving them as they came in. This one cracked me up. I love it.
I think this is from Al.
yeah,
Oh,
this one's
God.
from Al McClellan. One of the guys at
That's
work.
it. Yeah, with the clouds parting around
my
it.
God. Very funny.
Yep, need a hand, officers. See, there's just so many puns. Like,
oh my god,
man, so many of the comments in the video are just like, clearly this is Rooster Teeth's next animated series. Like,
that was way more fan art than I thought we got from that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
Thank you, everybody who sent that over. Yeah. Oh my god,
it all started with a bottle of absinthe. Wow, who would have thought?
Yeah, probably. And
yeah, no, we were stone cold sober, man. I don't know, just sometimes. Like, just, something clicks. Like, Blaine, you voice characters. So, like, have you ever had like a moment where you just, lost it in the booth?
I've done.
Blaine is a professional.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do the script and that's it. No, I'll get in as Nerf and I'll just talk as Nerf, and it's just, I think it's funny. And there's like a lot of shit that they probably have stored of me just like going off the rails and saying horrible things as Nerf.
See, I would love to do that, man. And like, that's one of the things, like, so it's great for us. We just got a GoPro that we just set up in the booth, and like, it's been great for us because like, Ben and I do have so much fun, and it's like a cool thing for the audience, like a look behind the curtain, to see us, like, kind of how a lot of like the lore, especially of Wiz and Boomstick, is literally like improv on the fly of just us fucking around. And I was like, man, dude, we could get so much cool content, like even for just like the Blu-rays and stuff, like if we just kept a camera rolling in that booth, like for those moments. So I'm really pushing
the
for
audio
that.
lines. Like I can tell you that because like I have like even looking at the camp, we have files that are just, it's like called goofs, and they are just like fucking gigabytes of outtakes. So yeah.
Can I take a quick second to tell you guys how much I appreciate the level of patience that you guys have to have running the show, because like even like I was once tagged on a tweet that Chad had posted. It was like announcing that you were in Genlock. So like you were like, I was in that tweet for whatever reason, and then I started getting death battle ideas from just random people who didn't follow me.
Yep.
So it's like I feel like half you guys' notifications for 75% is just, I want to see Predator. I want to see Predator do this, and
dude, our RT's community support team, like when we became a part of Rooster Teeth, they then were just like, holy shit. Like they got so many suggestions, and they still do. Like people just like use the like support email to be like, do this matchup. So that was a fun adjustment for them.
You have a very engaged audience, and then they're like super enthusiastic, and then they love to see their shit. And I bet like you just make people's days whenever you make a matchup that they dreamed up, But like,
we try.
Shit.
It never really goes their way though, unfortunately.
But only if we got it right, according to them.
Occasionally, you get the tweet of like a legitimately fucking great idea, and you're like, oh shit! Like I don't want to be like, hey, keep tweeting me ideas, but that's really good. Like,
yeah,
and that's why we created.
It's double edged.
Dude, it used to be even crazier, man. Like, and that's why we created the suggestion form, which is like this master document that we put on all of our videos that people can go and submit their matchups to, and then we go through and sort through it when we're like looking at like the next season planning. We're like, okay, what are like the most requested characters? Okay, this guy is like number 1, this is number 2, number 3, and what are their then most requested matchups? And we look at those and we're like, does that make sense? Would that make a good episode? And dude, sometimes it's gotten crazy. Like the before we had to like refresh it. Like I remember one time it was just like there were so many entries that we went to go like, and it just like loaded forever, just trying to populate. But it's cool. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, the last time I checked, the first one had maybe like 600,000 requests or something after a year or something like that. It was nuts.
Oh my god!
This was back when Austin was producing, and he went through the sheet and like created this whole crazy like mathematic formula on Excel to like organize everything and get it so that we can actually figure out what's actually popular or not, as opposed to just having this massive wall of text. It's crazy. Luckily, things have definitely improved over the years. We have much better systems now with the current research or suggestion form and stuff. But yeah, sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah, forgive my ignorance, but I haven't seen like there's like you guys have been doing it for ages. But what other Star Wars characters have you done? I think Darth Vader was one of them. I'm assuming
we've done Darth Vader. Boba Fett was our very first episode, and we made a remaster of Boba Fett versus Samus. That was still like 5 or so years ago. We did Luke versus Harry Potter That was also a long time ago. It's been a while since we've done a Star Wars character in Death Battle. Like quite a while. I feel like
Probably 4 years.
Ben and I were talking about this last week because like I was really curious to see how this episode would do, because traditionally whenever we've done something Star Wars related, it like regardless of whatever, it just hasn't performed very well. And there could have been other reasons for that, and so that was something that Ben and I were talking about, and we are very curious to see how this goes. And then this episode just like fucking crushes it, and thank you guys so much for watching, because like we hit number 2 trending on YouTube yesterday, which was wild. So clearly there is some demand for some Star Wars stuff. I mean, Naruto definitely helps, but
for sure, it's also a very cool matchup. Like it's been a popular matchup request for a long time. It's one I've wanted to do for a long time, as well as Liam. I do think that that concept that you're talking about, where Star Wars doesn't perform quite as well as other stuff, I think it largely, I mentioned this last time too, I think it largely stems from some of the other older content that we used to do back in the Screw Attack days. We would make like a top 10 Star Wars episode or something like that, and it just wouldn't perform as well as other top 10 episodes.
Well, even largely Death Battle. What was this show? Labs. What was the show?
Desk
the
of
one
Death
I
Battle?
wrote for like Desk of Death Battle. Yeah, like
are you serious? You forgot the name of your show,
dude? It's you quarantined the weird world. Yeah, even that though, we would do Star Wars episodes on that, and they were the lowest performers by like a long shot.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I think Star Wars has a unique fan base in how it's sort of set up. Where
look at these guys.
Well, there are different segments of fans who want different things from Star Wars content, and especially before like the Disney era, Star Wars fans were like that hardcore group of people who read the novels and the comics and stuff, and there were fans of the prequels, but there was a lot of kids. So since Disney's taken over, the general audience has certainly grown, I feel like. But when we were putting out desk ofs for that, I don't know if there was much of a demand for Star Wars like super nerd content, like getting into the really nitty gritty of these random books that nobody's heard of. Nowadays it's a little different, obviously.
Desk of Death Battle is still one of my favorite shows that we've ever done. I really wish the algorithm didn't just like plummet it into the ground, because
it's a tricky
that was
show.
A shame.
We love working with Lisa. She's amazing. And then also like it was so fun. Like the amount of shit that we learned. Like Blaine, if you ever saw Desk of, basically what it was is like there's a lot of times that like when we do all this like insane search, we're trying to fit like this character's entire history into like 20 minutes. Actually they only get about like 5 to 7, right? And so there's a lot, it's really trying to pick and choose what we actually include because it's relevant to the fight. But so many times we'd come across like just the craziest or the weirdest shit that didn't pertain to the fight but was like really interesting, and so that was why we created Death Cup. Right.
Yeah,
so we're like, right, so then we do the spin-off show that was just like, let me tell you about the time that Venom possessed a T-Rex, or like we found this, or
why the Parsec run or the Kessel run in Parsecs is like why it matters that it's that way, like stuff, like explaining stuff like that.
Yeah, it's either weird stuff or like really interesting stuff, but it's just shit that didn't really pertain to the fight. One of my favorite, we found a Mega Man comic Sam did that was, where's it from? Was it Puerto Rico?
It's from Brazil.
It was Brazil. So there is a license.
Is it canon? Like his arm?
Yeah.
Alrighty there.
All right, guys, I'll be here all week. I'll see you all later.
No, that's honestly perfect for the Ruby Spears cartoon, if you remember that, and like all the puns that they were constantly doing. And for some reason, Cutman had that weird voice. It's like, mind if I cut in? Like, God, all the time. But yeah, we found this like Brazilian Mega Man comic that was actually licensed in canon somehow. And I don't remember the whole details on it, but like, I mean, the art looked like it was drawn by like children, and there was like some weird sexual situations, and like it was wild.
Essentially, and I think Gerardo found it or brought it to us actually. But it, like, what happens is the actual artist of it, I think there's just like one or two, and he tries to take over the Mega Man comic with his own character to try and get like his own brand started, but like they don't have another artist, so they kind of have to publish his work. Is really weird. The whole story is fucking strange, and the thing is extra odd. Like it's got like Mega Man X is also a character, and he's like always in a bathrobe and shit. The whole thing's really fucking weird. But yeah,
I mean, this is coming from the people who have the terrible cover art intentionally, right? Like,
yeah, dude.
yeah,
that was such a weird thing in Street Fighter Cross Tekken when they just embraced it and they're like, you know what? Bad box art Mega Man is a character.
All right. Well, on that note, I think now is probably a good time to get into our community death battle.
Before that, let's talk about some Miller Lite. Right now, having a Miller Lite with your friends in real life isn't possible per se, but staying connected is still important. And Miller can help you do that with Miller Time. Some people are stuck in houses with their roommates and partners, others, back at home with their families, and some are in lockdown alone. But you can all get together via the wonderful internet and have a Miller together. So, make sure you do that. Go to the store. Even better, don't go to the store. Get it delivered, because Miller Lite can be delivered on like virtually any delivery service now. Like go to whatever your preferred one is. Have, a 12-pack of Millers sent to your door. Hell, you can even send a 12-pack of Millers to your buddy's door. That'd be a great surprise. Hit them with a Google Hangouts link, and then crack open some cold ones with the boys. That's what we're doing here, because it's Miller time. So, Miller Lite, the original light beer that tastes great and is less filling, which means it won't get in the way of enjoying a time with your friends. So, safely get some Miller delivered, avoid going outside into the ugly world, and have a beer with your friends. Miller Lite, the original light beer. While you're at home, enjoy a classic. Available for delivery today. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Go drink. I know I will be.
All right. So I threw this one out last week because I was hoping I'd be able to get Blaine on this episode because I wanted him to be able to talk about his two loves, and that is Star Wars and action movies. And see what you feel would win in a fight to the death between Han Solo and Indiana Jones. So it's a battle of the Fords. So the way this goes is we've got submissions from the community. So we're going to read one basically defending each combatant, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. But I'm very curious to hear your opinion on this one.
So while you're collecting your thoughts, we can go ahead and bring up those answers. As always, you guys can let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. So let's go ahead and bring up the first answer for Han Solo, I assume? Yes.
Tristan Duke says, I'm going to give it to Han. Yes, Indy's weapons are just as lethal as Han's, but Han is more comfortable with his gun, while Indiana's primary weapon, his whip, is less lethal. It's Dr. Jones' Last Crusade, because this time Han will shoot first. There's also a whole thing. They like to add the puns because of the boomstick stuff. It's great.
I have like reasons. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I have my answer.
Real quick, I just want to comment how I thought it was hilarious how Han's character arc in Solo is he learns how to shoot first. That's basically what happens in that movie.
The moral of the story. Yeah. I'm gonna write down my answer just so that you know that my opinion is not swayed. Okay.
Well, we still do have one answer.
Take
for
that,
Indy.
audience.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring up the answer.
I refuse to listen to you, and I will prove it. Langford Artist says, Indy, we've never seen Han fight outside of his blaster. While Indy has fought in many forms of combat against the Nazis, Indian thuggies, Soviets, and ninjas across movies and comics, Indy cracks the whip, gets the blaster, and it's over. Han isn't beating Indy in a fist fight. Interesting. That's true. I mean, if he did... He's whipped a lot of things out of people's hands. So like if he got rid of the blaster, that's true. Like we haven't really seen Han fist fight. You guys in the comics and extended universe stuff.
I'm trying to think of a case when he might have brawled with somebody in an actual fight.
Well, he briefly got into a tiff with Chewbacca and Leia. They were in an arena and they got their hands on some lightsabers. So he's battled with a lightsaber before. And he can fight in a fist fight. But I did write, though, Indy takes it if it's fisticuffs, but Han would win if weapons are involved. And Han would win if if allies were involved for sure. Because he's
So
got
one of the things we
Chewbacca
do,
versus short round.
We try and do no outside help.
Oh no!
Oh god,
Yeah.
would be...
But just
Chewie
this one,
versus
allow
short
Chewbacca
round.
versus short round.
That's
Will
a
Does
short
short
better
round
go
get
well.
the car? If Chewie's bringing in the bowcaster, does short round get the car?
The mine cart.
The mine cart?
Yeah, the mine
Oh,
cart.
you're talking
I'm
about
thinking
the
the
car,
car
in the beginning
from
of Temple of Doom, yeah.
opening, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Chewie still takes it and just blows it all up.
Yeah.
It just blows up the car.
No, the bowcaster's ridiculous. But well, so it's interesting because like, I guess a laser's faster than a bullet, but in the Star Wars universe, like everything we've seen, they don't seem that fast.
So
Like,
there are
not.
canon speeds to the lasers in the Legends timeline. It's confirmed that they're light speed, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And then in the new timeline, it's confirmed that they're generally bullet speed ish.
Yeah.
So you
They're
can kind of
like-
And
consider
so,
them
mental
so
bullet.
Andy's
energy,
got a
not light.
revolver.
I mean,
There's-
I'm
there-
just
I
saying,
mean,
if
they would
weapons
still
are
kill each
involved-
other. It doesn't matter.
Han's gun is powered by like a battery that will outlast the amount of ammo that Indy has. But Han's gun apparently is also super old because it was
Han's
given
gun
to
is
him
old.
by
Oh, yeah. By his,
it was
yeah,
given
I
to
was
him
gonna
by
say,
whatever his name is in the Solo movie, and he's just had that same gun the whole time apparently.
yeah, the entire time. Well, so is DL-44, the battery, I think there's regulations for how like charged your battery can be or the kind of plasma it's powered by, and Han's is like illegal. So it shoots like a super lethal blast.
Yeah.
Han's kind of a dickhead, but that's why you love him.
But a
though.
cool one. So
He's a
Yeah.
lovable rogue.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I don't
So
know,
he's
see, I
firing
think with-
explosive bullets, basically.
Basically.
fun
Yeah.
fact: there's actually an old Star Wars comic, like a obviously very non-canonical one, where Han and Chewie get like I think they get sucked into a wormhole because they're lost in space, and they end up on the Millennium Falcon crashes into Earth, and then Indiana Jones finds them. But it's like
What?
Han died in the crash. Yeah, and Indiana Jones finds him. Chewie's still alive, obviously, because Wookiees live forever. And is like recognizes that Indiana Jones is definitely Harrison Ford and is like cool with him and just like lets him into the Millennium Falcon, and then he leaves, and then Chewie becomes Bigfoot, and that's how we have a legend of Bigfoot. Yeah, it's fucking stupid, but that's how.
'Cause it
goes.
makes-
This is why I miss Beskov.
Yeah, it's like a off like canon storyline, but it makes sense though because they're in
Yeah.
a galaxy far, far away. People forget that technically the Star Wars universe exists elsewhere
in this universe,
just a
yeah,
long time ago. So,
So
like,
far, far away.
Here's some
Yeah.
things I want to bring up in Indiana Jones's defense. We know he's super durable. We've seen him get the shit beaten out of him so many times, and God, how it hurts me to reference this movie. But
don't say it.
in the beginning
no.
of Crystal Skull,
Oh no!
he climbs into a lead-lined refrigerator and survives a nuclear explosion. I hate. They both left. I know. I hate it. You know how much I hate that movie, Ben. I hate it so much. They're both gone.
Okay, so he survived.
You
You
know
done
I
talking
hate
about
it.
Crystal Skull?
Yeah, he's
because
I
He's in a
hate it
fridge.
so much.
and the fridge
is
might be
lead-lined.
designed to do it because it's in a nuclear like testing facility.
Bullshit.
Well,
Like
no,
getting
I'm
rocketed
saying
through the sky. Like,
Listen,
and then,
listen. Something we have to do for death battle is when we find this ridiculous shit, we have to figure out a reason for it that makes sense, right?
That's actually
so
awesome.
So, in order to justify him surviving this stupid moment in Crystal Skull, personally, without looking into it, obviously we would look into this more for an actual episode, but I'm just going to say the fridge was designed to survive the nuclear explosion somehow. And he just got super lucky that he jumped
it was
into
in Area 51, and they were testing out new.
Yeah.
They were producing new like appliances, and that was one. Of them.
Yeah, exactly.
even if
It's
you
the same
take
thing.
the nuclear explosion out of it, it still rocketed him through the air inside that thing. There's no way
It's not
anyone
only
would survive.
It's not only designed to survive it; it's designed to keep anything within intact as well.
That's bullshit.
Which
It's
okay,
got
wait,
rubber
wait,
Your
interior.
milk and
It
your
is-
eggs.
It is not super far-fetched because in a lot of like Navy ships and especially submarines and stuff where they can't like offload stuff, almost every modern day thing you would think of, like ashtrays, plates, everything like that, are made specifically so they only will break into like 2 or 3 pieces and never shatter, so that you don't have shrapnel floating around in a ship like that. And so it's like custom made. In they have it with a lot of like general electronics too, to avoid water damage. I would assume a fridge is the same way, because you might have like resting water on the ground at times. So it's like, it isn't insane to assume the military might make shit designed to survive at least the outskirts of a blast.
Sure.
It's
Lord
a
Terminal
large
also
jump,
mentions
but
in the other movies, Indy does have some ridiculous feats in the other movies. In the second one, for example, he jumps out of a helicopter or a plane with nothing but a raft, and they survive. Yeah,
their spines
and they somehow
have just
survive.
been compressed.
Yeah, so it's not like it's outside of the realm for Indiana Jones to survive crazy things. The nuke is out there, but he's definitely got some cartoon force going on with him.
Yep.
But I mean,
that's again.
He was a war
that goes
hero.
back to what you were saying, where Indy's much super tough. We've seen him survive ridiculous things, even without the nuclear thing. We've seen him survive ridiculous things.
I would also make an argument that in the world of Indiana Jones, we do know that to some extent, mythology and gods are real because of the covenant, like the Ark, right? And in that, he kind of did God like a favor, so maybe he just gave him a freebie, right? Like that. It's like a thin thread, right? But like maybe like he did him a solid, killed a bunch of Nazis. Like that's great cosmic karma. And like maybe Jesus was like, let me catch that fridge. You're okay. Shh, let's ignore it. It's a miracle. Like,
so wait. Are you saying that if we're giving Han Chewbacca, then we have to give Indy Jesus?
He gets divine intervention?
No, he's already used his one divine intervention. He got it once. It's easy.
Oh, for the nuke.
Yeah.
That's what
He
Sam's trying to say.
He also drank from the Holy Grail in The Last Crusade, and even though the effects stop at that line, he still drank from the fucking Holy Grail.
Yeah,
so
there's got to be some
side
side
of power.
effects. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that explains the fridge thing.
He's secretly immortal.
Again, I don't feel good about bringing that up. I don't. I feel dirty, but I just think that like that's what I think. Indy will win it. I think you will.
Well, do you want to see what the community had to say?
Well, let's all cast our votes. And I noticed we didn't do that last time. But Blaine's already voted Indy. Are you sticking with that, Blaine?
Oh, no. I voted Han with weapons, Indy with fisticuffs.
That's true. Okay,
well,
you're giving them weapons.
Okay,
absolutely.
Then Han. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a close one, but Han.
I have to go Indy. I think he could disarm Han.
I think,
Sam?
yeah, it kind of depends at range, but I also kind of think Han, just because he does probably have a lot more experience using a blaster, whereas like Indy doesn't. I don't think he really ever shoots people except for that one time.
Yeah,
the best.
He is a decorated war hero from World War II, but I think he was more of an espionage angle. I don't think he was like on the fucking front lines whipping Nazis.
Yeah,
I mean, doesn't he shoot? No, he uses the whip to disarm people in the first movie.
Yeah, he did kill 3 or 4 Germans with one single Luger round, though. Just
right.
That is impressive.
I forgot about that.
All right. Well, either way, we got a tie here between the 4 of us. So let's go ahead and bring up the poll and see what you guys had to say.
What?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Nope. That's not. See, that's everyone wanting to pretend like the Crystal Skull doesn't exist, and I feel them, but you gotta really.
I'm basing my argument as if I am pretending Crystal Skull doesn't exist, and I still voted Indy. So I don't know.
I mean, Han is just cooler too.
Han's pretty suave. Yeah, Indy has some pretty nerd moments, and he totally does not pick up on the fact that what's her face was hitting on him, Marion.
Oh yeah,
in the first one. So he's not quite like. Meanwhile, Han's picking up fucking princesses from, around the galaxy.
Well, this isn't like a laying pipe competition. Like,
Jesus.
I mean, if it is,
Oh my
Han
God.
definitely at least has like a confirmed case. So
yeah.
you can say
So does Indy.
better
Oh, wait,
lays better
also
pipe.
Christmas.
Han, you could argue might have some level of force sensitivity as well. I mean, like, I feel like there's some sort of like evidence that he's been influenced by the force with his luck and shit.
Her name was Leia.
He's a really good pilot.
It-
So
He's a really good pilot.
Before we polish this off, can we touch on a second about how Star Wars is a very, very popular franchise, maybe one of the most popular in the world, and it does have a key storyline about like some mild incest in it. Like, what's the thought about that? The Luke Leia
it's ahead
bit,
of its
like
time.
it's
Look at
such
Game of
a
Thrones.
weird thing. Yeah, fair. Like it's yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
I
was
guess
on
that's
that
the secret.
bandwagon.
I mean, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, it's all about incest. What are we doing, guys?
It's just weird. Like, why do you think that was a part of the story, though? Is like what I'm trying to get at. It's like, do you
What
think
was
they?
Lucas thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, he
I don't
didn't
think
know.
he was really, but
he didn't know. I mean, he had written
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, or I guess had consulted on writing for Empire Strikes Back, and then I don't think that they knew at the time.
well, then even then, what's that like writers' room meeting where they're like, oh, well, let's actually just make them sisters, and they're like, oh, but we're in the last movie we were trying to make them fuck. Do you remember that? And they're like, we'll ignore it. Like that's insane.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
but then they're probably just like, hey, but like, what if that happened? I mean, that'd be fucked up. Like, but it could happen. Like, the only thing it would have made it better if just like as soon as they find out, Luke just throws up. He's like, oh, like,
they had that plan in Empire, or at least Lawrence Kasdan planned on it. It might be him who set that up.
Really?
In Empire, they mention Leia, unless there was another plan. But Leia being the other one is first mentioned in Empire. They just don't name drop her, and then at the end of the movie, it implies that it's her
they
because
do.
she's able to connect.
Is he,
Remember,
because
it's like
he's leaving on the
it's-
X-wing. He says there is another.
yeah, there is
Yes.
another. Right, exactly.
And then at
It's
the end of the
Yoda.
movie, she unintentionally uses the Force to connect to Luke and find him. So
Yeah.
it was set up, but then they also make out at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I think they were just dedicated. They were just like, hey, listen, like, he probably thinks she's hot, and you know, they,
to be
they
fair,
don't
if
know.
you didn't know
So, like-
it's your sister,
Right.
Like, I don't think there's any like, yeah, it's not.
I know they
Yeah.
like really
So,
needed
there you go.
23andMe, right? Like,
Yeah.
Probably the awkward part for me is when he reveals it to her and she's like, "Oh my god, I've always known. I'm
I've
like,
always known. You kissed him for luck on the Death Star.
You've kissed him based on the movies alone. You've kissed him a lot more than Han. So
Also,
I mean,
their system would be metachlorians in me or something. That would be their.
oh no.
23 and Misa.
Okay, we can fade to black on that one. That's
Wait, no, we need to come up with a new community death battle.
Yeah,
oh,
we
shit.
need.
Oh shit.
Totally blanked on that.
Wait,
His
what are
has
the-
wait.
What are
who
the?
his
What are
has,
the?
like,
Just send your
rules?
DNA.
pick
to the
two
Gungans.
characters from
Blaine, is there a
different
Star Wars
franchises,
character that you've
preferably.
always wanted to see
We've
fight
done Star Wars
somebody?
characters forever.
It doesn't matter.
Let's branch out from Star Wars.
I mean,
Blaine is a fan of other things.
I've been
Blaine, is
seeing a
there-
lot of comments. I'm a huge fan of two things: Doom and Predator. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Could we do
that
that?
can be a
Or
Maybe
No,
Doom
but-
versus
Doomslayer versus Predator?
I'm fucking positive Doom guys got that one in the bag, but
Predator.
versus like,
Yeah, you
I don't
might be
know.
is there like a super predator? Is there one that's specifically
There's-
protagonist like style?
the one from the Shane Black movie, The Predator, but it's
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
Doomslayer
that was
would
the
win
modern
hands
one
down.
with the like giant predator, right? That was
Yeah,
So yeah,
Um,
way back we did Doom Guy versus
Master Chief.
Master Chief. Which
weird.
I
To be fair,
remember
that was
Blaine had
before.
asked me if we
it's
ever did an
Doom Guy.
episode with Doom Guy, and I was like, "Watch this, but don't make fun of my bad voice acting."
Yeah,
I
that was
have an
that was
idea.
What is
before this Doom guy, so very different.
they have a comic book of this already. But what if it was? Sorry, I'm looking at my Big Trouble in Little China poster, and no one gives a shit about John Carpenter. Probably like our fan base. But what if
a
Jack
fantastic movie,
Burton
yeah.
faces Snake Plissken?
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I'm on board with
But-
that.
But like Snake Plissken, not Solid Snake. Snake Plissken from Escape New York, right?
From Escape
from New York.
Yeah, LA and
Yeah.
Escape from New York.
Yeah. The Kurt
yeah,
Russell.
yeah.
If we're keeping in line with the Harrison Ford, it's Kurt Russell versus Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I
Jack
just randomly
versus
looked at the
Snake.
chat and it's just Doom Guy versus Jesus.
Doom Guy is Jesus, though. You know that, right? That's what they're
Yeah.
kind of alluding to.
There you go.
Which is great to have like an ultra violent Jesus. But anyways, we do need to close out for the next thing. To
All right, is that it? Are we going with that?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
It's so
Snake
bad
Plissken.
because one of them clearly takes it.
Well, if everybody hates it, it's Blaine's fault. So
It's my fault.
That's fair.
That's fine. You guys have never had me back on this show, anyways. It's okay.
All right. Well,
What,
on that note, thank
after
you
the
so-
N-word show? How could we
Oh,
not?
God. I didn't
You
say
have to bring
that.
that
I
back up?
said, God damn it.
Well, thanks
Well-
so much for watching, guys.
and thank you for joining us, Blaine. I mean, for the first and only time.
Yeah, it was great having you, bud. All right, bye. everybody.
We'll see you
No,
next.
just waving.
Okay, we're out.
Credits. Bye.
Bye.